Good evening, friends and colleagues, and apologies for the delay. Speago cocked up the open. It's true, though, Toby. It's not my fault.
It's technically not me. It was the system. System
Well,
error.
no, it's
System
error.
System.
System error.
We
But
rebooted it.
We've rebooted it. We're here. We've rebooted each other. We've two-footed on it. No, we haven't. But yes, we are here, people. We are live into your living rooms, into your ears, onto your phones, onto your tablets, or maybe, I don't know, somebody's watching us in the bath. Who knows? If you're like Hayden, you've got a TV in every bath in your house. You could be watching us in the bath. Anyway, welcome to this award-winning podcast and live stream on the 40 Runs YouTube channel. We are here as the home of the everyday runner. All of what we're about to say is totally unscripted, which you will probably find out. It's all totally unedited because we don't have editors. And anything could happen over the next 47 minutes because we're 3 minutes late. This show is sponsored by our friends at Skechers. We love Skechers, and they've got some amazing new shoes coming in the spring of 2025. So make sure you get involved with that. And they're also supporting us with a Christmas lights run that we're doing in a couple of weeks' time, which is very nice of them. Now, if you are watching us live, and I will remind you again, I want you to get in the comments in the live chat and get involved. So whether you want to, I don't know, ask Wilco why he's wearing a hoodie, or how Speedgoat managed to run a marathon with no training, then ask away. Because tonight, people, we are going to be talking about finding your running pace. It's a hard thing, and it's one of the things we get asked a lot is, I don't know what my easy pace is. How do I know how fast I should run tempo pace at? And all this kind of stuff, because there's all this jargon out. There's all these heroes on Instagram who are telling everyone they're going to run 5K this weekend in under 16 minutes because they're just amazing and giving us all tips. But they absolutely have no idea about these sort of things. So today, we're going to talk to you about that. But before we do all that, we've got the crew here. We've got the team here. Speago himself, all the way from Yorkshire, after he's eaten all their beetroot, has joined us. You all right, Tobe?
Yeah, I'm good. To be fair, I preferred like the cakes.
Yeah, we also. If you've not seen the Yorkshire Marathon weekend video, definitely watch it. There was a lot of eating that took place. Somebody else who likes to do a lot of eating is Hayden. He's here. What was it?
I don't know. I do a lot of eating, apparently. Can I just say straight off, first of all, happy damn Friday, everyone. But look at them comments straight away. Adam, 3 a.m. in Singapore, and he's got up to watch the long run show. There you go.
That is dedication.
Or maybe he's just coming in.
Maybe.
Oh, he's been out.
He's been out. Brilliant. Love that. But anyway, happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Wilco, are you all right?
No, you broke me.
Oh, yeah, I did, actually. No, technically, you broke yourself, actually.
Yes, but it was under instruction of the coach I was working under.
And what did that coach then tell you to do after you said?
He told me to run down this road.
Yeah, really fast, didn't I?
And then my knee,
Yeah, I said, what did that coach then tell you to do?
Rested, so that's what I'm trying to do.
There you go. It's a good coach, that one.
So yeah, so I'm going to have a week off. So
week off. Which I think actually, to be honest with you, your knee is not anything to do with what we was doing. I think it's more actually of overtraining recently, young man. Bollocking incoming. I would say to everybody who's done, like Wilco, a lot of training recently and try to carry that torch into whatever's next, because you want to run. You know, it's a great thing to be able to go out and running. But at the same time, you have been hitting it quite hard still, boy. You haven't eased off since, to be fair, right? So,
I mean, I'm pretty philosophical about it, because it's perhaps not, even if I had to have 2 or 3 weeks off, it's not come at a particularly bad time.
No, but I do think you was burning the candle at both ends, sir.
Yeah, well, that is a fault that I've had for sort of like nearly 52 years. So
yes, so I think, you're unfortunately your downfall has been of your own making, brother. But shit happens. Tonight we're going to be giving away a place on our group coaching. If you've got no idea what that is, successfully in the summer we got a group of amazing people together, and we coached them through their marathons, their half marathons, and things like that. And it was really awesome because they all smashed it. Amazing. And if you've seen the competition post that's gone up, we've got a picture of Gemma on there. I think it was like 14 or 19 minute PB in Chester, which is just unbelievable. We have a place up for grabs, which I'll be reading in a minute. We're picking them in a minute, up for grabs because of the comp. If you are unlucky enough not to get that place, then make sure you check that out. It's 50 quid and you're getting training plan, you're getting coach access You're getting once a week live coaching call and all that sort of stuff. So it's really good. I think you'll really benefit from it. So make sure if you don't aren't successful in the competition, then check that anyway. I think a lot of you will get a lot out of that. Talk about coaching. Let's give our guys at Cooper, because we like Cooper a lot on this channel, a shout out. If you go to fordyruns.com/Cooper, you're going to get a couple of weeks free of training as well. So I thoroughly recommend that. As well, last thing I do want to give a shout out, if it's okay, boys. I recorded a podcast last night that's going to come out next Wednesday, which was with Big Fletch. We did a men's health awareness special, which I think is really important. It's Fletch's idea, which is brilliant. And that's why I love him, because he pushes that to the top of the agenda. It's a good show, actually. I edited it last night. It's 30 minutes. Actually, it's longer than that. It's about 40-something minutes. And yeah, we're talking, about men's health and things like that. But I would say for you girls as well, some of it's totally read acrossable. But also, if you've got a man in your life, maybe you don't. But if you do, I would also recommend listening to it. There's a lot in there. We talk about health issues, but mental health as well. So I thoroughly recommend that. That comes out next Wednesday. Please share it with men in your life, and make sure they listen to it, because there's a lot of signposted in there and stuff like that. So if you could, that's next Wednesday that comes out in the morning. Last thing I think before we get into, because there's a couple of other things I want to chat about before we get into the sort of main menu, is that people have been asking us about the merch and Black Friday. Yes, there will be a Black Friday thing, whatever it is. I don't even know when it is, but I found out there is a Black Friday thing coming. So if you're looking for even long run merch, it's going to be available. Right. So firstly, I want to pick up this with Hayden a little bit with you, Wilco, because you've been doing an amazing job. But Hayden, we've got some new satellite groups. Apologies if you're in Singapore, you're not going to know where a lot of these places are. So there we go. Hayden, talk to the viewers and listeners briefly about some of those new locations, because it's good news.
Yeah, it's really good news. We suddenly had a bit of a surge where we said in November we're going to open up the kind of books and look at different locations. Quite a few people come forward. So we're looking at the moment. We've got a leader all set up and a group set up in East Manchester, Nottingham. We are bolstering that one. We're at Milton Keynes. It used to be a satellite club we had, but for various reasons that didn't quite work out. But now we're going back to Milton Keynes, so we're getting that involved. We are looking down in Tunbridge in Kent. We've got a new group starting up, and Watford as well, which is not too far from you, Wilco. We've got a group starting up in Watford too. So plenty coming up with the club. So keep looking at the website, keep going, see where all these satellite clubs are. And also, if you want to start one yourself, make sure you get in touch, because we want to cover the whole entire country with these awesome satellite clubs.
Yeah, we're currently covering like Exeter to Carlisle at the moment. But I think one thing that crossed my mind this week, after the amazing work the ladies are doing in Wakefield, is a good example. If you're like a local run club, not affiliated to like anything particular, you're just like a group of mates who get together and run, which is just basically what we're about. But you want some support, mate, maybe we can help you with, some qualifications, get you some insurance going. And again, the whole support network within the club, the size that we are, get in touch. We can help you. We can, we can support you. We can, you can get involved in all the madness that we do. But at the same time, we're looking to support and help provide more access to more everyday runners and remove the barriers to entry, so you don't feel like, I can't go along to that run club because they're all too fast for me, or I run walk, I can't go to, all of that. We want to take all of that away. I can't afford, a sore running top that they're all wearing, black and white one. Well, that's fine. You can wear a 3-year-old dirty charity shop t-shirt if that's what you want, or you can wear an old lonely goat one that probably someone's thrown away because they've left them. You can wear whatever you like. We couldn't care less, honestly. Just we're about getting people together. And again, if you're in Singapore, Malta, Montreal, and you want to start a little run group out there, get in touch. Honestly, definitely. We're changing the landscape, and it's deliberate.
I think as well that this time of year it's a really good time to get involved with the satellite club. So good thing.
This is what I was going to come on to, Wilco, because what I noticed today, and Wilco, if you didn't know, he runs our Broxbourne group, which is just amazing. What I noticed in your post this week, Wilco, that's why I wanted to pick up on it.
Sorry, was that Wilco Wednesday?
Wilco Wednesday.
Wilco Wednesday.
Wednesday's now been renamed Wilco Wednesday. But what was really took me aback, which in a positive way, Wilco, was the amount of ladies in your session. And I think that's a really big, important thing to just highlight in terms of women and men's safety in the winter. I think if you could provide a place, a regular group a safe group. Obviously, we've got a welfare system in place in 40 Runs. Again, if you're looking at as a group to move into, we have a whole welfare. We've got an amazing welfare officers and support network within the club. But I'm just conscious of the fact of as being somebody who's got 2 girls and a wife behind that door, of a safe place to, go out and run and be collective together. And I think that was the thing that I took from your post this week, Wilco, was the amount of ladies you had there. And I think that's brilliant that there's a safe place if they choose to. Yeah.
Yeah, I put a post up on a local Facebook group, sort of like, come and run with us, don't run on your own.
Yeah.
And I've had about 10 positive yes, I want to comes, and
Brilliant.
8 of them are women.
Brilliant. And that's the thing. We want it, it's so important. It's at this time of year, the darker nights and things like that. I'm so conscious of it. As I said, with my girls and that lot, I think it is. And boys as well, don't get me wrong. I was somewhere running the other night and I thought, not sure about this. Probably not a smart idea. So again, it's that whole safe thing. But please, if you're a female solo runner, have a look. Go over to our website. It's not up to date. It's something I've got to do. But like if you're working in London, for example, 6:15 on a Wednesday night in London, we've got a group of that go out. That's led by Sue, amazing Sue Flynn. And again, it's not about times. It's not about looking good for a branded, run shop that runs out and causes a lot of chaos down
the
London
group, particularly as well, is a very sort of like female. There's lots of girl members of the.
Yeah,
and I think lovely.
Yeah, I think it's great. So I don't want to bark on about it too much, but please, in terms of women's safety, this time of the year and going into winter, it's just something to think about. Okay.
It's also just one other thing, Chris. I don't go on about it too much, but another one thing I would say is, maybe from a bloke's perspective, from everyone's perspective, it's a bit motivational. It gives you that accountability. Because normally, like, I don't know, last night the weather was a bit crap down here, I must be honest, and it'd been quite easy to have thought last night, so what? I was going to put EastEnders on. I'm going to sit up, have a glass of wine, not go out. And you think, wait a minute, all these people are going out. All my mates are going out. They're meeting up and going out for a chat. No, I can't let them down. I want to go out with them as well. So you've got that motivational aspect as well, running together in a group. And that's what makes it really special.
Yeah, it does make it special. And when I sit back and I see all this nonsense about influencers and all this sort of stuff that I don't class myself, I think of myself, I sit there with pride at how many runners that we are connecting across the country. You can take your influencers and shove them where the sun don't shine. We are changing genuinely. That's not bullshit. We are changing people's lives by bringing them together. So strip it all back and think about actually what's being done here. I think it's really important. People like Wilco, yourself, Hayden, Toby, you're involved as well. Genuinely, the lives we're changing. And I think it's really important that we push that message out there. Don't, feel unsafe running. Look up a club. It doesn't have to be 40 runs, yeah? Look up a local group to you and get along there. It's really important. Don't be unsafe this time of year. Okay. Right. Anyway, moving on, because we've got the Fulham 10K coming up, which I think is it a run through event?
It is.
Was it ACW?
Yeah,
run through.
That's back on the scene. Are we all doing that, by the way? That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Well, fitness permitting. Yeah,
I think it'd be all right. We'll take a couple of weeks. Yeah. So okay, that's why I brought it up. I thought we'd do that. It's a new one, not a new one, but it's like they're bringing it back, aren't they? In terms of that, it was a big event. It used to be run by Adidas, wasn't it?
Correct.
But was it that one where you used to everybody ran in the same t-shirt? I never did.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. They give you like that. They used to get it, and you had your bib on it, like your race number. You didn't have like a piece of paper. It had your t-shirt had it on, which I thought was kind of unique. It was kind of cool. They did, what were they, like those city runs or something like that?
Yeah, it does ring a bell. But I know what you're saying. It was something a bit different rather than just turning up, getting your race bib. But I think run through are doing this a little bit differently. I think it's going to be different to a usual run through event, which normally are brilliant anyway. But usually in these run through events, they've got that system that's so high tech where you literally turn up there and they print your number there and then for you, don't they? But with these ones, I don't know if you guys, I've had my number already posted out to me. I think this one's going to be a little bit different. I think it's going to be really busy. It's going to be a great event. It's a nice flat road and you get to run around Stamford Bridge. Amazing.
Oh, I'll make sure I stop off and take a picture.
As long as we're not
allowed to do that. Are we allowed to take? No, we're not. I don't know. So what? So what? How are you feeling towards the Fulham 10K? Because obviously I'm a bit worried because you've just done a marathon with no training. You're now going to take some of that. Well, it's not training, but some of that fitness into a 10K.
Oh, I'll give it a go. I don't think I've run since Yorkshire, to be honest with you. I don't think I've done anything.
I've done anything. So, but what the viewers will want to know, and this is where I was going with this, by the way, is I'm not joking. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, and this is important for you regular viewers to be fully up to speed with this. And I want to get onto some of the comments and questions in a minute. But our dear esteemed colleague Speedgoat, who is the founding member of the Speedgoat Run Club, has actually had a purpose-built gym built at the end of his garden, which does contain the treadmill that he bought in COVID. And it's going to have, did you say, it's going to have a bike in it, didn't you say, Tobe?
Yeah, well, I need somewhere to put the turbo trainer that I haven't used for a few years as well.
So, is there going to be like weights and stuff in there, Tobe?
It's currently got no floor, so
Yeah.
we're waiting for
will
that to be installed.
But will it have like, all the weights, the kettlebells and all that installed in it?
I'll probably have some stuff on the shelves on the show.
just to look good. Yeah, it's important. Look, it's important.
You've got to look the part. You've got to look the part.
If he's now got the gym at the end of the garden, firstly, I can use it. But secondly, if he can then walk in there and say he's been to the gym.
I haven't caught up with Speedgoat about this for a while. What was it not so long ago that he was paying like a year in advance membership for that he'd never ever? That wasn't gym membership. What was that?
That was the bulletproof runners. That was the bulletproof runners. The strength and conditioning from James Dunn, which is brilliant and helped so many people. Speako signed up for it, never did it.
I still get the emails. You get a week. There's a weekly Zoom call. I'm actually tempted to go on one week.
Can you go?
Go.
I'm going to tell James you're going on the Zoom call. that would make honestly.
Get on.
That would be.
I think you should join me as well.
What?
You should join as well. We should both go on that Zoom call.
I'd love to go on that Zoom call. That would be hilarious. Wilco, what have we got in the comments before we move on?
No, lots of people sending their best wishes. Everything. Big Ben says that he enjoyed the Yorkshire Marathon because he had a great roommate. He definitely did. And who was it? Where were we now?
Actually, Big Ben said about he had a lady join us.
Yes, he also said Ben runs our Chelsea group. And he said, I had a new girl started this week and she mentioned the fear of running alone. It's great to be able to support them. Absolutely. And I'm sure Ben would agree with me and Hayden definitely would. I've only recently taken over at Broxbourne, but I'm getting so much out of being a leader. It's been brilliant. Callum Burrows said the same. Tim Sampson's looking forward to the Christmas Nights run. Yeah, that's going to be great. Phil T, kudos to you, mate. I've had a busy year this year and stopped running. My wife had a baby and I was tired all the time. Also had an Achilles injury, but he's been back to it and he's done 2 5Ks this week. So that's great.
Good man.
And we've got, I think, is that Louise or Louis?
Louis.
She's saying thoughts on Matt Choi. I don't know whether you boys have seen that this week in terms of Matt Choi. Wilco, you're looking at me like.
Could you refresh my memory, mate?
That's the chap who ran the New York City Marathon with his brother and his videographer on e-bikes, and then and rightly so got disqualified because it was like unsafe. It was and he's come out and he's apologised.
But then it's done it from his perspective. It's done his job, because he's put his name. We're all talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. If we don't talk about these things, people don't do them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was his aim. To be honest, I think he was trying to get a reel, which he got.
Well, that's what I mean. He's doing it for content purposes, isn't it, to boost his own profile? So let's not do it.
So a bit of context for that. In respects, he doesn't really necessarily need to boost his profile. So if people that don't know, Matt Choi is probably one of the biggest influencers out there.
Running influencers.
Running influencers, sorry, yeah. So, 500,000 of followers. So
something like that.
It's big. People are looking out to him, and he got given a bib by
Runner. No,
Runner.
Or someone else. Or was it Runner?
I think it was Runner. He got given the bib basically, and he went out there and he basically he abused the rules. He's acknowledged that he abused the rules and he said sorry. But in the meantime, what's happened is he's given a bad name to other influencers because same as anything, one person does one thing wrong and everyone thinks that group of people, they're all the same as him. So I think that's where the big hubbaloos come about it all. So but hopefully
there were those other lads, weren't there? Who sort of like ran the last mile of the Amsterdam Marathon or something, got a medal and made a big song and dance about it. I saw that. That was
there was something about that as well, wasn't there? I saw
it's a bad habit for people to get into.
It is. It's just as you say. It's that rush to get content, and I think we're all getting sick and tired of it. And But again, you know, the geezer's come out and apologised. Whether you take that for face value, whether you say that he was forced into doing that because he got dropped by everyone or whatever, but you know, he did come out and apologise. I mean, you know, he shouldn't have done it in the first place. It's a stupid thing to do. He regrets it. We all make mistakes in life, and that's the sort of thing. But there is obviously a sort of bubbling away of hatred towards, and I think it's probably the same in most of these things where you get influencers and people doing social content. I think there's a real sort of, what's the best way to describe it? A dislike towards it at the moment. I think because the market's saturated with it, and that's down to the brands more than marketing agencies. Don't forget how much marketing agencies. That's the one thing, right? As somebody who's obviously involved. Now, again, I just put this clear. I don't classify myself as a influencer. Yeah. Ultimately, I classify myself as a runner. Bottom line, I was running, and then I started a YouTube channel, and then I went about creating a club that is now the largest in the country. That's, you know, that supports however many people, with 60 local groups out every week, and a massive virtual group that goes out. Right. So I don't necessarily class myself as that. I don't really get involved in all that bollocks because it is. But what I don't think people understand is there's a lot of agencies out there, like these influencer agencies that sprung up on the back of this, who like make loads of money on the back of this stuff, and I think they're the people that are actually to blame for a lot of this.
So they're putting them up to do it, are they?
Don't get me wrong, right? I would say Matt Choi made his own decision on that, and again, he's owned that, right? So, but in terms of like, I get stuff all day long about from, oh, do you want to be part of this Dove shampoo and sell that? And like I said, obviously they've got no idea what we do, yeah. But it's like these machines, these marketing agencies that just put you through it, and they're so out of touch with actually what's going on. But that's the thing. So, you know, you're pumping money into these people's hands. And again, I don't earn money through like agencies and stuff. I don't get paid to go and make a post about, I don't know, what's a good example? What's those home delivery things? You know, like what are those boxes when you get like fed at home because you can't cook or something?
Oh yeah,
Box Fresh
and all that. Again, no thing again, but people get paid. They get like sponsored to do that sort of stuff. I've never got involved in any of that because it's basically bollocks, and you can see through it. And I ain't got the capacity to do it. So that my point is that the agencies are pushing that out. So I think that they take that up another level because they're always hunting for people to do that. And I think it's the whole thing's just got out of control.
Do you know what? Can I just say indirectly that Lisa, what's that? Lisa FORDY, is it? Who's just commented? She's literally just summed up basically what the conversation is about. The problem with the Matt Choi thing was this whole publicity thing's all been about him and what he'd done. And she just come out and just said she'd managed to get a sub-4. It was absolutely fantastic marathon. This is what the story should be about. Someone has gone out there for the first time, run a sub-4. We should be celebrating that. And just to back it up, she's literally come and said, those bridges nearly killed me. Your vlog from last year is really helpful. So for people to jump on the back and say, we don't need these influencers, we don't need it filmed, she just proved exactly she had a fantastic experience. And from you doing your vlog, FORDY, she found it really, really helpful.
That's the counter argument to
Brilliant.
it all, is that those, you know, me, someone who, even though I'm a coach and I got hammered apparently for not even progressing as a runner from some idiot who knows nothing, doesn't base that on my results from my runners, but they base it on what I do. Anyway, but the point is that people, you know, they see videos and they go, oh, I wonder what that race is like, and they'll look that up. Like one of my clients, I won't name her because she'll probably kill me, but she was like, oh, I fancy doing a Newport Marathon, and somebody in my satellite group sent me a video from this Andy FOD runner guy. Oh yeah, and it was really good. She said, because now I'm going to probably sign up for that. That's the positives of it.
Definitely.
Right. And showing that. But I do appreciate, and I actually agree with this in the respect of, if it's a busy race, you know, the selfie sticks and all that, it can be annoying. I get that. And actually, as somebody, I've stopped and reflected on that. I'm talking busy races, so like majors, Great North Run and things. But again, I'm not, you know, I think it's all personal opinion in terms of how you want to do it. But I'm now conscious of that. And I think that's actually a positive that's come out of it, that somebody who does film races, I'm going to be much more conscious of that. I think that's a good thing. Again, always looking to do better. So I take that on board. But I think it's still okay if you carry a camera to film it, and there's no difference between me carrying a camera and like on a phone, as long as I'm not causing any problems for anybody else, because I wouldn't want that. So I think that's okay, because you do want to tell the story. And again, as somebody who's on my channel, I'm documenting. If you watch the weekly vlog, which I've done since 2017, which is the basis of the channel, and that's how I started, because I wanted to keep myself accountable for my training when I did my first London Marathon, right? So if I am documenting my training, I then show the outcome of that training, and I don't hide anything in those videos. If you'll see, I think in the Edinburgh Marathon, which nearly literally killed me, but because I just had a thing removed from my head that was benign, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to do it or not, and there's a real emotion there. And that's not trying to cover anything up, but I show, hopefully, the whole running process, my training and what I go through. And yeah, a lot of it's cocking about, but ultimately I then film the race, not because I'm filming it because I want to look good in a reel with my top off, because I don't. But what I want to do is I want to show the outcome of my training and show what I've achieved, bad or good, based on what I've done. So somebody else who may watch that and go, you know what, Fordy's just done that. And this is where, again, makes me laugh when people are going, oh, he did no interval training for his no wonder he's not getting any faster. He has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. I tore my calf muscles out for 7 weeks. All I wanted to do was train to be able to complete 2 marathons, which, although I'm not apparently calling that one geezer, I'm not a very good coach. Funnily enough, the training plan I did, guess what I did? I completed 2 marathons. You know what? I felt all right. Didn't I, Toe? Because I sprinted off at the end, left you, by the way. But it's true. Do you see what I mean? But my point is that I see that as documenting my journey. And if people want to watch that, that's great. They don't have to watch. So that's the other thing. People don't have to watch this stuff. What Matt Choi did is the complete other end of the spectrum. And I don't agree with that.
I think the biggest difference between you and Matt Choi is, as Alf Dickinson referred to, he is a 6'7" monster, built like a brick shithouse, and he looks the absolute business. Whereas you look like Sloth from Goonies or something like that. It's like talking cheese. Different people.
Hey, you guys.
Strong
that was, wasn't
it? Point of order. I'd just like a point of order. I've not been on for a few weeks. The standard, the language.
Oh, it's him. That way.
Him.
I'll be honest with you, it's true.
It's gone downhill.
Yeah, so I think, look, that's where we're at on that. I don't know whether that made any sense, but all I would say is I don't agree with what he did. I think there's other factors involved. I think if I was a coach and I've done this and I've been on runs and I've pulled people up for health and safety, I would. And Hayden, to be fair, he was with me on one run. 100%. I told the cameraman off because he had his flash on and people couldn't see where they're going. That's how, my coaching, health and safety takes over. I think so. If you're in that environment, you do need to check that. But again, everybody's welcome to do what they want to do. Life's too bleeding short. Watch the thing on Wednesday. Listen to Fletcher's story. Watch Chris Hoy's documentary. Yeah, and you'll realise that life is too bloody short to worry about all this crap, right? And we just got to get out there and we just got to run and we just got to have some fun. We've got to enjoy it and have the best time while we're here. That's it. We get one go on this rodeo, people, as I always say. So agree, disagree, whatever. Do whatever you want. Anyway, let's move on. So, coming back. So, someone was asking about the Sydney Marathon. I would say, listen, Harry and I have recorded another one of our really originally titled podcasts called Marathon Talk, which we haven't borrowed from anywhere. Hopefully, we've got away with that, Wilker. That's coming out on the 22nd of November. Let's say that originally titled podcast is coming out then, but we talk about the Sydney Marathon in detail, so check that one out when that comes out. Right, so moving on to running pace, because I do want to add a little bit of value to our listeners instead of just cocking about, and because you lot were all told off, by the way, for not having any energy, and we was also told off in a review for not getting to the running bit quick enough. So we've done really well because it's already half hour in. This wouldn't happen on the running channel. Their sponsors wouldn't allow it. So let's move on to finding your ideal running pace. Because again, I'm not making this up. One of the things I get asked a lot, and I understand that, is how do I know what my easy pace is? It's true, though, isn't it? It's like, how do you know what this is? So I thought we could talk a little bit about that, right? Because running pace, if again, you can go heart rate, whatever, but if you stop and think about it, is key to improving your endurance, help prevent injury. Wilco, looking at you, but also enjoying your runs as well. I think that's fair. If you can get your pace right, I think that can make the run a lot more enjoyable. Because if you're running too fast, it's like if you don't do any of that aerobic work, you know what I mean. So I think the sort of 5 things that I put together to discuss in terms of looking at the pace is using the talk test. Now, I've mentioned this before quite a bit of time. And it's not something unusual. We're not reinventing the wheel here, by the way, tonight. But I think in terms of understanding and we'll come on a little bit more into finding that easy pace and sort of narrowing it down a little bit. But I think if you can find a pace on that talk test where you can hold a conversation without like gasping for breath, I think you can then set a base in which you can then work from. Yeah. So I would say the goal is like for those easy runs, again, we'll come on to that. Can you speak in full sentences? Like Hayden rang me on something the other day and we had a full blown conversation as I'm running down the embankment. True. Could you understand every word I was saying? Like, I mean, bear in mind.
Apart from your dodgy accent and your cockney stuff. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. No heavy breathing.
That's a good way to set a base or a benchmark for your sort of pace. Wilco, have you ever done the talk test?
No, but I do. I'll tell you what I do sometimes. That if I go, because often I'll be with, I'll have my headphones on, have music. You know, sometimes I'll just sing along, see if I can sing along to, like chat along with the lyrics of the song that I'm reading to see that I can do stuff like that.
Now,
I make sure it is quite a long, because, you know, obviously a lot of lines in a song can be sort of like 5 or 6 words, but like if you can do a whole verse or a whole chorus or something like that, it gives you a better indication. So I do it like that because quite often I do run on my own, so I don't want to be a nutter who's talking to himself.
Now, I think in terms of finding that easy pace, right? I mean you can use metrics in terms of saying this is my 5K, 10K race effort. And that was the pace that I used to achieve that. And I'm going to go per mile, okay? So just because I'm old-fashioned, I'm not like Hayden. But yeah, I'm going to go into miles. But so really, 5K, 10K pace, race pace. Again, 5K should be different to 10K, but just splitting hairs now. Ideally, 1 to 2 minutes per mile slower. Fair, Toe? Yeah, he's nodding.
I've got my mic muted.
Oh. So that's I would say that's fair, right? Now, you can use a pace from your previous race times, let's say ideally pretty current, and then you can then calculate that easy pace. But I think personally, I would use that with the talk test, as a basis to find that baseline pace in which you can feel relaxed. It's sustainable. Obviously, it's helping build aerobic fitness without like overexertion. That's key. You know, you do want to feel like, well, I haven't really done anything. I've just run for 30 minutes and I could do another 30 minutes. You know, it's that sort of thing, yeah. But it is critical because if you can layer that in at the bottom, create that foundation in which you can operate, at the minimal amount of effort, you can then go up and you can then assert different levels of effort, which will then punch out a pace, which will then punch out a heart rate, which will punch out a zone, which will punch out a power. Yeah. Do you see where I'm going? But if you base it down here and rebase yourself, you got that? Now, I'll tell you what was interesting the other day, going a little bit off topic, shock, ADHD. I saw Run For All are doing a Cooper run. Now, that's nothing to do with Cooper app, which is the best running app, which you can get a free trial using the code at fordyruns.com/Cooper. But they're doing a Cooper run, which is a Cooper test. Again, I did one of these years ago, and somebody suggested to me to redo that on the channel, and I may do that next year.
We did it at Hartford. We did it down Hartford.
You did it, but you did do it, but I don't think you didn't do it in a
A scientific environment.
Yeah, I don't think you did it in an environment that I would be happy with, but we still had a good go at it to get a rough idea of where you.
Yeah, we just sort of ran as hard as we could for about 25 minutes, didn't we?
It's 12 minutes, Wilco, and then
12.
the distance. There's a calculation that you use. It's all available. Just Google it, right? There's a calculation in terms of the distance you achieve versus your, where you've gone and that sort of stuff, and it will punch out some data. Okay, it's quite interesting to do. But what I thought was interesting is that they're doing a race thing of it. It's like it looked like it was like a Hyrox thing. I thought, oh, what's this? But actually, it's a Cooper test, and that is a really good way, by the way, of finding out without having to spend like time and effort to go to get a VO2 max done in a lab, which is the best way to do it, by the way. But as an everyday runner who wants to find out really where they're at, and again, it's not 100% accurate. So just put that out there. But it's a good gauge to test and rezone your. So if you're running to heart rate, yeah, and this is a good way, and this is where I'm going, to test, again, that pace is to monitor your heart rate zone. So out of you three, does anybody run accurately to heart rate?
Me.
No.
So you wear a strap the whole time?
I do, yes.
When was the last time you rebased your zones?
Yeah, to be fair, but rebase it yourself. No, it's been absolutely ages. But obviously with Garmin and with Techniques now, they rebalance it for you, don't they? They ask you to accept new thresholds depending on your current performance, your current fitness, and where you're at. And you'll always get that option. Do you want to accept? And you can accept the new threshold or not. I granted, it gets a little bit technical, but the majority of the time I will accept it, and I assume that my heart rate strap on my watch are doing me right, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think if you're going to monitor your heart rates, you need to do it with the correct stuff. I mean, we did this famously with Tobe. We sent him out there on a zone 2 run, Tobe, to be fair, to do 20 miles. It actually took him the same time that he ran the Yorkshire Marathon with no training at the weekend. That's true, though, isn't it, Tobe? 4 hours. He was on his feet for just over 4 hours when he did proper zone 2 20-mile run. That was the same time he ran the Yorkshire Marathon with no training, right?
It's hard as well. You don't realise it, isn't it? If you start going even the slightest incline, then suddenly you're out of that zone 2.
Yeah. But the point is that by setting your zones, again, but do it properly with a Cooper test, again, which is it's not the most scientific way. I just want to make that absolutely clear. But it is one thing you can do, right? And by the way, you have to give it full beans. There's none of this. I'm about 8 or 9, like I say to you, Wilco, on a Tuesday night. Was you actually doing a 10 out of 10? No. Okay. But you really have to send it, for 12 minutes. It's like literally, it's death. Vomit and death at the end will greet you when you finish.
Can I just say something? Yeah. Surely there must be a way of just sort of like having a rough guide so you don't just get bogged down in lots of this stuff of what if you're sort of like just generally in, we always say, oh yeah, if you want to run to heart rate, get a heart monitor, blah, blah, and then you have to set it and all that sort of thing. But surely the thing on your watch isn't completely useless. Surely it gives you a sort of like a rough guide that you
and
can
the sensors
just,
are getting
if
better.
you don't, because it can get overwhelming. You've got so much on. You've got so much to do with like your marathon training. What am I eating? Stuff like that. Oh God, it's easy to sort. Oh, my heart rate was faster than it should have been. There's got to be a time where you just sort of like just calm down a little bit, and then you just sort of like think, well, am I in the sort of like the rough ballpark? Am I doing? I'm not going out and blast it. As somebody who's easy pace would be perhaps like 11-minute miles. I'm not going out and blasting 12 miles at 8.5. I'm in the rough sort of ballpark. I'm doing the right sort of things.
Yes and no. I 100% agree with you on the fact about the technology. It's more accurate than it ever was. I think also you need to take elements of everything, data, perceived effort will come onto that, and everything. But at the same time, if you are really wanting to progress, and anybody who's currently coached by me can tell you that, is that the efforts that we put you into in terms of that aerobic building is set within a very, very tight zone, and then it's a lot slower. And you'll be thinking to yourself, yeah, I'm running pretty easy here, but you're probably not.
Correct.
Yeah, you probably not. And you may think you are, But unless you're basing that on some form of data, some form of metric, yeah. Again, I'm not saying, because perceived effort is not a bad thing as well. And I'm one of these people who like to take a bit of everything, yeah. Because I am with you on that, when it can be overwhelmed. But I think if you're dead set on improving, and again, this is not necessarily for everyone. So a lot of people just want to go out and run because they enjoy running. It's the time to go out and get some headspace, yeah, and do it for that. But if you're looking to improve, then you really need to go about looking at your paces, your efforts, your heart rates, and doing it properly. Because if you nail it, that is where you're going to see the most gain. So the people, for me, we talk about my runners in terms of like, because I was taking the mickey out of that guy who hammered me earlier. But if you look at the progress that I've made with my runners this year, I mean, Ben's probably the easiest one, isn't he? Because we all know him, yeah, in terms of like 3:42 marathon down to 2:56, and he wasn't dead. It's because I made sure that his easy work was actually in that easy window based on the data that I had for him. And it's proven to work because we've kept that. And then, yes, it's moved along as he's improved, as we've improved his stamina. But the work he was doing in that zone, that area, that pace, that effort was actually indeed easy. And when I wanted him into an interval pace, I had him in that window where I knew that he would have the exertion that I was required to build his fitness, to build his stamina. And ultimately the outcome would be that 2:56 marathon. That's why I got him to where I got him in over 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, and I think, Wilco, I think maybe you're looking at it wrongly as well. When people are looking at saying too much technology, there's too much to think about, I look at it the opposite way. That technology and that heart rate zone on your watch, that's there to make it easier for you. I personally think running to perceived effort is more difficult. As FORDY
experience,
just said,
you need experience.
You need experience. You think you're running easy, you possibly are not running easy. Whereas if it's on your watch, if it's telling you you're not running easy, that's easy. That's a lot more focal to look at.
Well, I mean, I do have.
I need to slow down.
I mean, if I look on my Garmin, and I'm running, I've got the rough guides, and I can see like the blue zone. I know where I'm in zone 2 or zone 3, and I know before I go out that according to my Garmin mates, that the top of my range is top of the range of my zone 2 is 130. So if I go out and I've got my heart rate on there, every time I get to sort of like 134, I think, okay, then we'll ease back a bit and we'll just drop down. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, that is enough. That's what I'm saying. You're using the technology from that. If you didn't have that technology that you was referring to earlier, that would be very difficult to do. You try going out, do that 5K run. That's what everyone should do. Do that 5 or 10K run with using your watch and dropping back, and then go out one day, put a sweatband over your watch, and do exactly the same run, and then compare the figures afterwards.
Well,
see how much
that comes on to perceived effort, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you're trying to base your pace, because this is what we're talking about, or your, how you can use these things to improve, because that's what we ultimately, if you're, wanting to do this, perceived effort's a great thing. I think that comes a lot of that with experience. Yeah, I can roughly tell you when I'm, let's say 5 or 6 weeks into a marathon training plan, if I'm on pace or if I'm too fast. Toby will tell you, because I'll be the first one to go pace, boys, and then we'll all look at our watches and we'll go, oh shit, yeah, we're at 7, whatever. But perceived effort, it's like a rating system for yourself. It's like, and Wilco know this because how I coach in terms of, like when we was doing that session on Tuesday, it's like, I want you to go down to the end of this road 6 out of 10. Yeah, in terms of how, that effort. So 10, all out. 6, 60%, Wilco, you're welcome. But it's like, so we're using that as a gauge. So can you say to yourself, actually, I'm plodding along here, but I'm probably out of 6, where I probably really, my easy run should be about a 3 or a 4. But actually, I am about, because actually I can feel I'm a little bit quicker in my breath than I probably would be. And that's where the perceived effort comes in. It's sort of rating yourself and having that awareness around how your body is feeling, how quick your turnover is, what your cadence is doing, what your heart rate is doing, because you can feel it. But more importantly, the easiest gauge is your breath. And like as we said about the talk test. And that's how that perceived effort comes in, or perceived exertion, wherever you will. I think it's called RPE. Run by perceived exertion. But basically, you're rating yourself. So like a threshold run, 7 or an 8 out of 10, because you're just at that limit. You're not hitting the red line, but you ain't a million miles away. You're just able to hold that pace, and that's where you want to go with your threshold running, that lactate threshold. 7 or 8 out of 10. You could carry on. You wouldn't like it much, but you could. But you're not there where your legs are screaming at you, and you're starting and you're quickly running out of fuel, which is more towards that 10. And again, that's that exertion or effort scaling system for you to work out what your paces is. And again, it's what metric you're using to base it on. But I go back to what I started with, which is basing yourself, finding that foundation in which to work from. So the talk test, the easy pace conversational is your 3 or 4 out of 10 on your thing. Your zone 1, zone 2 on your heart rate zones, which you've set correctly because Wilco's made you do the Cooper test. But
not on Wednesday at Broxbourne.
Yeah, but the point is that you've rebased it, so you then have that to move through. And again, it doesn't matter if you get it right or get it wrong. But what I'm trying to say is that when you do get it right, yeah, and you do train within those threshold areas, those brackets, you will see the biggest improvements if it's a balanced plan. So you've got, the right levels, you've got the right amount of aerobic, anaerobic stuff, and it is over a sustained period, 6 to 8 weeks plus, where you'll see that transition. You're doing the strength work, you're doing all the other bits that you're meant to be doing, Wilco, recovery in particular. But but it's true, if you do all that other stuff, then you'll start to see significant gains. And that's how you do go like Ben, 342 to 256. Because you have that understanding of your effort, your pace, your heart rates.
Well, it's certainly not through running form. We know that.
It's definitely not through running form, which, by the way, he says he reckons he wants to improve.
I know.
I don't think that's humanly possible. What do you think, Wilco? Could we improve Ben's form?
I've had this conversation about form already. I'm not mad on it. I saw a woman. She ran the Boston Marathon last year. She looked like she'd been pushed out the back of a van. The best marathon runner this country has ever produced, Paula Radcliffe. A world record was beaten by a pair of trainers. You'd never say she had a classic form.
I know. I like the fact that you're so old school, Wilco, and you go back to Paula Radcliffe. When was it black and white TV then?
Yeah. Ask your dad, kids.
Yeah. I would say, look, I would leave you with this in terms of the paces, because obviously we've gone into quite, I wouldn't say deep, but we've I think we've done. We've had any. I'll ask Toby in a minute. But what I would say to you is test it out, play with it. Yeah, that's the cool thing with all this. Yeah, especially if you're not someone who is, training for something, half, 10K, whatever, and you've got, like Wilco's meant to now have a bit of downtime. Play around with it. Find that easy pace. Again, I will, if I take a client comes to me and says, I think, you come back and, I can't improve. No, I just go out and I'm just running. And then when you actually stop, we break it down. Most of the efforts are in like zone 3. Most of it's like uncontrolled. There's no variation in their runs. They're doing everything at the same pace. And it's just, you can see why they're in the rut that they're in. So first thing to do, for the next 2 weeks, I want you to run every single run as slow as you can. What? Are you mental? No. I want you to go out 3-4 times a week for 30 minutes to 45 minutes each run, and go as slow as you can, to the point where you almost think you could walk faster than you're actually running. And when you've done that, and we can look at the data, we can see how slow you're actually running. We can see what your heart rate is. We can see what your cadence is. And then we can start to form a base in which we can then start you off at. Where is your Duracell bunny pace? Where is it where you can go all day? Like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. He was like that Duracell bunny, and he's 90s. He's younger than Hayden, but he's still out there now, right? But it's true. It's that, if you've seen the Jersey Boys, you'll see the references. But it is that pace, that where we need to find you to rebase you, because once you have that there, you can then do everything else from there. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, chaps?
I think there's 2 other things that people have to consider when they're running slowly as well. I think too many people get bored. Don't be afraid to be bored. Like, I can't go slow.
There's a very good podcast I can recommend. It's called The Running Chat now.
Right, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, people don't worry about what it's going to say on your Strava and all that.
That's true.
Don't
That is true.
Stop. Don't go out on a slow run and stop your watch when the lights turn red at the bloody traffic lights. How many people do this? Why?
I do.
What's the point?
I do.
Why?
I do it because I find it easier. I understand what you're saying, but I find it's not about Strava. I'm about caring what people think about your run. I couldn't care less about that. You can look at my moving. You can look at my moving time and know if I've stopped it. Mine's more to comparison. No point me going out and pushing out a 10k fartlek, doing exactly the same one 3 weeks later, but the first one I stopped 4 times. You know, my results could be different. That's why I stop it. But if you want to look at my moving time, look at the moving time. I couldn't care about that. It's not about being that Strava person that thinks, oh, I want to do my runs perfect and good. It's not that. It's just mine's purely for benchmarking and comparison.
That's fair enough. There's no right or wrong answer here.
I would suggest that you're probably the exception to the rule, mate.
There's no right or wrong answer with this. Last thing I would say, by the way, and it's not for everyone, is to try one of those. If you're really stuck with all of this, and as always, trying to give everyone a bit of help. If none of this is making any sense, and you're thinking, "Who's Cooper?" Isn't that the app that keeps pushing down my throat? What's this V2.max stuff? What are you going on about? Go online. There's running pace calculators that you can use. You can put in like a recent park run or whatever, and it'll punch out some numbers. So if you're really at that point where you're going, I think what FORDY say makes sense to me. I've got to try and work like better at doing like slow stuff, fast stuff, differentiating that, but still not sure what he's talking about. That talk test sounds like old bollocks to me. But go online, type in race pace calculator, and that may help you. Again, that's not the best way to do it, I would say, but it will give you something to start with. And that's the thing, yeah? And fair play to you for wanting to go and find that and try that and go on that journey of trying to improve that sort of stuff. Fair play to you for giving it a go, because it's very easy, like I said, to sit there and moan about, oh, I'm not getting any better. I'm still really slow and all this sort of stuff. Well, have you tried changing things about a bit, and that's the thing, and have some fun with it and enjoy.
Exactly. Experimenting is for fun, isn't it? Just get out there and try a few different things and see what happens.
I do want to ask one thing. Hayden, is it really hot in your house?
Why? Come on, why?
Because as somebody who self-confessed doesn't drink water through a marathon, I've never seen you drink so much water during a podcast performance.
How's that so much? Look, it's up to there.
If you're watching this, not watching this, Hayden's reached for his bottle, which has put me off about 22 times for this bottle. Has he got gin in it or something?
Now that'd be telling. It's off season.
It definitely has, isn't it? It's definitely. So, chaps, what are we running this weekend?
Nowhere.
You're definitely on the bench, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to have a rest and then go out and renew with hopefully some new friends at Boxport on Wednesday. That'll be next time.
But I've got a question for you, and I think you do need rest, bruv. Are you considering doing your yoga again?
Would you think that would be of benefit if I did?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll put a video on and I'll do a bit at home.
Yeah, I think honestly, don't just because you're deliberately taking time out, maybe you've got a niggle, whatever, or you're feeling, but basically what Wilco's done is he's overtrained. But don't shy away from doing exercise, right exercise. Okay. If you need to speak to a physio, GP, whatever, do that, take medical advice. But, don't be like making an injury worse. But at the same time, if you're taking, look for something else to do. Yeah. Okay. It's really important. So Wilco, I know you was really into your yoga and you was doing really well with it. I think you benefited from that. So as long as it's not going to impact your knee or whatever it was, or you was like moaning about the other day, I lost interest when you were telling me. But but no, on a serious point, bruv, I maybe get that. What about you, Speako? Are you? I guess you're not doing any run. You're just prepping the gym for the stuff to go in it, aren't you?
Well, I'm not really sure because I thought the Fulham 10K was this Sunday.
We'll just go do it.
So I planned I was going to be running Sunday. So, but as it's now next Sunday, I'll probably need to start my taper. So I might.
Is that why you wrote earlier what we do for food?
That wasn't me.
Oh, he wrote. Someone was asking about food. I thought it was you. Anyway,
No,
okay.
I was saying what we doing Sunday, how are we getting to Fulham?
That was it. That was it. You wrote how we getting to Fulham. I didn't twig that you were thinking that it's this week. Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was
no,
like-
got it. Okay,
I
that
got a
makes
bit confused. So
total sense.
I might go out. I don't know. I don't want to injure myself before next week.
Well, this is the
So-
thing, Tab. And the important thing is you want to make sure that you are able to get in that gym and get out of your gym without getting injured as well
That's true.
when it's built. I can't wait to see it. We'll have to put a picture up of your gym. Hayden, although somebody also's got a bit of a niggle, I hope you don't mind me saying that. What are you planning on doing this weekend? Apart from like walking around your mansion and inspecting that the whole staff cleaned it properly. What else are you doing? Drinking some water.
Drinking water, yeah, loads of water because it's so hot in here.
Peloton.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a niggle. I've had a bit of a dodgy back. It's been going on for long periods of time. It's got worse. So I've had a bit of downtime recently. I went out and done 5K yesterday, quite easy. And I've got a plan to go to Parkrun tomorrow because we've got a bit of a comedian coming joining us tomorrow. It's going to be like a comic show. And I know he's listening tonight, Mr. Paul Bolton. He's the worst joke teller you've ever seen in your life. And he's coming down to Bushy Parkrun tomorrow with a few of the others. Marissa's there, Louise is there. There's a few of us going there, a few of the Camberley lot. So I'm going to join them tomorrow at Bushy and then a bit of breakfast. And then Sunday, absolutely sweet FA.
Oh, by the way, you got to stop being horrible with Darren, my mate.
I'm not horrible to him. I'm really nice to Darren.
You leave Darren alone. It's true, isn't it? Look, he knows he's been happy. So Darren runs our Camberley group. He's the nicest guy you could meet in this world. Like,
you don't need lights, running lights, because he's got.
No, he don't say.
See, you're doing it. You're doing it
Can't
now.
help himself.
He's a top bloke.
And he cries wolf when I go 2-footed on him about him being 82 years old, a hobbit. And then he goes off and then hammers Darren about his pearly whites. You leave my mate alone. Honestly, you should be ashamed.
He's a top bloke.
Ashamed. Yeah, he's a top bloke, actually. And that's a good point. We've got Camberley as well, if anybody's interested to getting along there. So, yeah, get along to Bushy Parkrun tomorrow. I'm at this airbase thing. What's it called?
Remembrance Run.
Yeah, no, what's the base called? I know it's the Remembrance Run.
Oh, that place is too far.
Yeah, I said to Toby, he went, no, it's too far. But what's it called? Where is it? I better find this out for tomorrow.
Is it Duxford?
No,
I don't know. Paige sent it to me, but well, yeah.
Dunsford?
I don't know where it is. It's in Essex
Dunsford.
somewhere. Anyway, I'm there tomorrow, and I'm doing the Remembrance Run. So an important one. I like doing that because I think servicemen and women are just absolute amazing people, and I love doing that run. It's an ATW one. I think I've done it, other than injuries or being sick or anything. I think I've done it for most years. I love doing it. I think the men in service, men and women of this country are just like our NHS and everybody else and their forces and that lot. They're just amazing human beings. They're just unbelievable people. I saw them at Liverpool Street Station tonight, and I was just looking in awe of them. How amazing they truly are. So, yeah, if I want to do that, I'm doing that tomorrow. And if you've got a serviceman or woman in your life, or maybe you're listening, thank you very much. Just want to say that. Thank you. We appreciate everything you do for us. But yes, there we go. Debden Airfield is where I'm going to be. Tobe loves running around there, don't you, Tobe?
It's actually where I got my half marathon PB.
It's true. What is that, Tobe? Just let the people know.
1:34.
How does he do it? Honestly,
That was a few years ago.
How does he do it?
Wait till he's 50. Well, he's 52.
It's not right. I don't know. I just don't know how can someone not train for marathon and do a marathon? It defies logic. It's all that gym work, Tobe. It's looking at that gym being built, I think, is what has made the difference. Would you agree?
No, it's cookies, pastries, beetroot, and pasta.
Darren's in. You're in trouble, Hayden. I think that's a great way to end the show. So I'm back on Monday. Hope he won't be here because Darren's going to knock him out on Saturday. Rightly so. I'm back on Monday with the bite-sized live stream sort of Q&A. Bring your shoe questions. Bring your running coach questions. I'm going to be talking about a new shoe from Saucony, but it's a new shoe kind of. So make sure you tune in for that on Monday at 8 o'clock. It's been really great. We've had loads of people tuning in for that recently. So thanks to everybody who's been doing that. And again, we've got the special coming out on Wednesday that I recorded with Fletcher about men's health. Please listen to that. Please share that with any men in your life. It's really important that they take the message home from that. I don't want to go into it. I want you to watch that, listen to it, take the messages that we're trying to give across and some of that signposting, do something about it. Make sure you watch that on Wednesday, please, and share that. And I think that's about it. Are we live next week? I've got no idea.
We are.
We are live next week. We'll probably be adding more value. And that's probably about all I can say with that. Right. So take us out. We'll see you all next week.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.